Welcome to the Heart of HSP, a new podcast from the Humane Society of Pinellas. I'm your host, Dave Paloff, the Chief Executive Officer here at the Humane Society of Pinellas, and I am so glad that you're joining us. This series is going to be about real conversations from inside the shelter, out into our community with our neighbors, and into the lives of the animals and people that we serve every single day. Some of the things that we're going to cover throughout the course of the podcast are how we connect with our community, transparency within the organization and externally. And we're going to be celebrating our shared purpose about what we do and our mission and how we serve the community. You can expect a myriad of different episodes from us here at the Humane Society of Pinellas that include community partners, donors, our team members, volunteers, and various staff from other organizations that help us in our mission every single day. So today, we're going to be kicking off our series by talking about HSP legacy, our leadership, and what the future holds for the Humane Society of Pinellas. I'd like to introduce Robert Brink. Robert's our board chair for our board of directors. So, Robert, let's go ahead and start by getting to know a little bit about you.
Right.
What you're involved in and the many forms of leadership. Why is it important that you give back to the community? And specifically, why HSP? What made you choose this organization as a place to serve and give back to your community?
Well, first off, thank you. Thank you for having me as your first guest. It's a pleasure to be here. I guess the involvement is the volunteering aspect of it. And I mean, it started just volunteering in general, started young for me when I was actually in high school. It was our senior year, our religion class, the class that for the year we had to volunteer.
Okay.
So we had to pick an organization in the community to volunteer at.
Okay.
And that's when I started learning about volunteering, how key it is to the community, how important it is to the community, because there's so many needs out there, and it's just not enough. It's a tough organization and it's tough to staff because there's such high demands. So that's when I was first introduced to it. And then I was introduced to animals was actually in New York as well. Growing up, I lived close to Belmont Racetrack, and we just got involved with me and my grandfather actually caring for the animals.
Okay.
Caring for horses that, that were involved with racing. But it just my involvement was more on the animal side.
Okay.
Taking care of the animals, taking care of the horses. So that kind of carried on. And of course, we've always had animals in our house.
Yeah.
And so that really became my love for animals. In terms of just continuing on volunteering, when I moved down to Tampa 25 years ago, I started, as a CPA in accounting, I got pulled into some organizations that needed help on the finance side. Right. A couple of museums that I was involved with. And there was two other organizations before here, but then when the opportunity came up through the board chair at the time, Kim Mahoney, she said there was an opportunity, and I thought that was perfect because of love of animals. And
right.
I thought it was a good opportunity to join in. But again, and the organization's wonderful. Just the care, the need for volunteering is that much more in an organization such as this, because we're talking about taking care of animals on a daily basis.
Right.
Where it's a lot different than a museum, where it's a lot easier. It's
Sure.
just not without life.
Right.
And so I think it's just been great getting involved with this organization, and I think it's great, and seeing the volunteers that we have at this organization from the lowest level to the highest level.
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those that don't know, as with most nonprofits, our board of directors are volunteers. They give of their time to give back to their community in service to the organization and supporting what we do through our community programs, in addition to being an animal shelter to our community. So it's a vital and important piece. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what our board of directors does and how they support us here at HSP. So,
well, great. Well, and funny thing is, this year marks the 75 years of since HSP was founded.
Yes.
And from your perspective as CEO, how would you describe the legacy of the organization and where it continues to go?
Well, I will tell you, it's a tremendous honor, right, and a privilege to be able to help lead this organization. It's a storied organization. It's been around for 75 years. We are celebrating our 75th year. We'll be wrapping that up in October with a tremendous celebration. Stay tuned for more information on that, our wonderful gala that we'll have in October, which will actually wrap up almost to the day our 75th anniversary. So stay tuned for that. But we've been here on our property since 1949, and we've got a storied history of serving this community in Pinellas County, the greater Tampa Bay region, of course, the state of Florida, not only through animal sheltering, right? Homeless animals in the community is definitely a community-based issue. It's something that I don't know if we'll ever completely solve, but we definitely want to play our part in helping to manage it and make it manageable. But we do that through community-based services that we provide, and that's through education and shelter diversion programs that we'll also cover and talk a little bit about in this episode. But we're sitting in our brand new Sourman Adoption Center that we moved into in December of last year. We're very excited about that. That opened up a tremendous new opportunity for us to expand our services, provide greater care to the animals, the shelter pets in need, and expand services to the community at large. And that's been a tremendous transition, not only for our impact for our community and pets, but for our staff as well, and learning to operate out of this brand new, more than 16,000 square foot adoption building. And we've grown so much from just an animal shelter into, as I touched about, those community-based services. And I'll talk a little bit about Hurricane Helene and Milton that impacted us last year and how this building served the community at large as more than just a shelter. This building is completely generated, soup to nuts, right? So if we lose power here, which we did with both of those storms, that generator kicks on and it powers this building. It keeps everybody safe and comfortable. It is a Category 5 building, so it can withstand Category 5 winds. That was hugely important in the design and intent behind this building, being in Florida, and we're impacted by disasters such as hurricanes almost on a yearly basis. And when the wind stopped blowing, we were able to open up our doors to the community and service community members and our neighbors, not only through helping them with their pets and holding on to pets such as first responders who were called into duty and didn't know when they were going to be able to get a break and come home and house their pets, but as a place of relief for members in the community to come in and just enjoy some air conditioning if you didn't have power at home, charge your phones, have a cold water to drink, and just get some a reprise from the day-to-day stress of trying to recover from those storms. So that was a huge impact and huge benefit to the community out of this new building here. And our service model has expanded greatly through our pet food pantry by being able to but service more folks who are in need of those services, and our Senior Pet Connection program as well. And again, it's really important. I talked a little bit about how we've been here since 1949 and service to the community at this property here, and how that's all rooted with compassion in mind. And that's what we constantly evaluate in what we do on a day-to-day basis here at HSP, is always evaluating what our roots are. We always want to lead with compassion and constantly evaluate what the community needs from us. We're constantly asking ourselves, what does the community demand and need of HSP, and how do we meet those demands? So we're going to be doing that through a constant mindset of innovation in mind and trying to meet those demands. So as we build on that foundation, Robert, governance plays a huge, massive role in making sure that we grow the right way.
Absolutely.
So Robert, let's talk a little bit about what governance looks like at the board level.
Yeah, it's as a board member, I mean, that's always a difficult role to define, because typically you have board members that have businesses or successful in their careers in other industries, and coming in, it's a different role that it's hard for some to understand, because as a board, on the board of directors of a nonprofit, I believe our role is to act as in governance, act as trustees. I mean, because we're dealing with public money, public people are donating money to the organization. And it's our responsibility to make sure that care is taken, we have financial responsibility, and that the decisions that are being done at the organization fit to what our mission statement is. So as our role as directors, we're more of ensuring that there's oversight of financial responsibilities. But it becomes difficult, as we've seen, especially for HSP, just because when I started, it's about 5 years ago, obviously we're 5 years ago in the midst of COVID.
Yep.
And when we first started, it's when we started commencing the building of this building. So we became actively involved in helping the organization from a financial responsibility and oversight in getting this building built.
Yes.
And it's where there's, as board members, we sometimes have to take a step back is knowing that we are trustees and oversight, and we're not management of the organization. And so it's just, we have to act as oversight, but we have to let management run the organization and be there as their support.
Right.
So, but this organization is a little bit different than other ones I've been involved with just because of the building.
Sure.
Just how, the development, the complexity of getting this building done. And most people don't know, on the outside, that what really transpired to get this building built.
That's right.
And it was a tremendous amount of involvement from management and tremendous amount of time from, we had a committee of getting this building built. And this just continued every month, a meeting, every 2 weeks meeting, every month meeting. And it's just been a collaborative effort, in getting, this building going and the organization going, which again is different than a normal board of directors.
Sure.
So that's why I've kind of taken HSP to be a very special place.
Right.
Because we've gone through a lot in the last 5 years. I mean, so we got to know a lot of people, and just it's been a wonderful experience. It's been a learning experience.
Yes.
Because it's these, as I was getting to, these directors that come from other industries, they've never dealt with this before.
Sure.
So, their mindset is to take charge,
right,
and take over, where we have to say no. We really have to take a step back and just act as trustees for the organization to make sure things are done properly.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit some of that process and those challenges with building of this facility, because we have to keep in mind too that this wonderful new facility and service to the community is just the adoption center, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about the infrastructure that needs to go into place to support this brand new facility, this brand new adoption center a little bit later. But we broke ground, because I've also been with the organization 5 years. June 1st was my 5-year anniversary with the organization. So we came on in similar times. So we kind of went through some of those trials and tribulations together, right? And COVID was not necessarily novel, right? The world has dealt with pandemics before in the past, but really for our generation, it was really novel for us, and that changed the way we do business. It changed the way we operate. It changed our world, and to demolish some of the buildings that were here previously, which were in really rough and some in deplorable conditions from previous hurricanes such as Irma that condemned some of those outdoor structures that we had here for many, many years. It was beyond challenging at times, because we went through knocking down some of those old structures, and then we almost came to a screeching halt because of COVID, and then we ran into the global logistical supply chain issues that everybody was experiencing, right? And getting materials here to complete this building and build this building. So it expanded the timeline exponentially. Not only that, but it grossly inflated the cost for this building throughout the course of that time because of those issues that nobody could anticipate. So that's just and that's not even scratching the surface of some of the issues that we had with going through building this new, beautiful, brand new facility. But it was a tremendous challenge, and I don't think we would have made it through without some of the leadership that was exhibited by some of our board members and the committee and the staff here. So it was really a tremendous amount of efforts on all parties to see this through fruition.
It was, and again, starts with the donors.
That's
I mean,
right.
the donations and the work in our development team that does to get money into the organization.
That's right.
Because that is an ongoing battle, obviously every day, just for operating costs. But just building a building like this, I mean, it was a big undertaking.
Tremendous undertaking.
And with a large budget, and we're raising money. I mean, this isn't like we came from a government grant. It was people putting the work in, seeking donations and involvement from the community.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit more about the points or how our donors and the generosity of our community comes into play. But let's talk a little bit about strategic vision, right? And what this property will or needs to look like, right, to be in service to the community well into the future. So we're just entering our strategic planning process here. We actually have our strategic planning retreat on the 30th of this month that will outline the direction of this organization for the next 3 years of 2026 through the end of 2028. So we're all very excited about that process, and that's going to be the roadmap to how we get to what we envision. But it's really that over the course of that strategic plan in the next 3 years and that roadmap, it's really about deepening our impact and expanding our role as a true community resource. Again, we're not just an animal shelter, we're really a social service organization and some of the services that we provide. And again, it's not just for the animals, but for the people who love them. And some of the themes that I think that we'll see throughout the course of the strategic planning process and in that document, once it's completed, is access to care. Access to care for owned pets is a huge gap in not just our community, but nationwide. We want to be able to help fill some of that gap through, we have a beautiful mobile medical unit that folks are going to start seeing out in the street at different areas of the community throughout Pinellas County in the very near future. So access to care with some of those core vaccines that we'll provide through low or no cost services, and of course additional partnerships with not only just animal welfare organizations, but really corporate partnerships throughout the community to help serve the folks that truly need the assistance. And of course, pet retention programs such as our pet food pantry. The need is more than ever at this point in time. Folks are coming to us. The phone rings every day with folks looking for assistance with pet food and some other resources in order to retain and keep their pets. We have to remember, that pets are members of our family. Right, they're just another family member, and to have this hard conversations with folks, we don't
absolutely. We
want to be able to keep them in their homes with them. That's where they belong. And emergency boarding through our home to home program. That's a huge program that we offer here at the Humane Society of Pinellas that we're looking to expand upon here. And behavioral support. We have a phenomenal behavior and training manager. She does great work for us here and does great work for the community in helping folks through our training and behavior courses that are offered to the public and for the shelter population here at the Humane Society of Pinellas. Of course, there's youth and community engagement. Now that we have this beautiful new building, we actually have our first summer camp for kids in the community starting next week. And we'll have 2 of them. Not next week, but in a couple of weeks. I apologize. They're completely sold out. We're very excited about that. Folks have been asking for that for a long time.
That's going to be amazing. I mean, just having the children here and just it's as back to what I was indicating earlier, just getting children to learn about volunteering early and learning about the whole process, especially when it comes to
That's right.
animals in the shelter.
Right. Proper pet ownership, care and husbandry, and how to integrate a pet into the home. It'll be hugely important. We're also incorporating a finance portion, right? What does it cost to keep a pet in the home, right, healthy and happy and as a member of the family? So there'll even be a financial aspect to the education that's going to occur in these summer camps. We're very excited about that. Innovation too, right? I talked a little bit about innovation, how important that is. This building here, as will subsequent buildings on the property that need to be built and put in place, will be done with innovation in mind. Every aspect of the animal housing areas within this building are done with fear-free standards in mind. So all of those aspects are in place, and that's keeping stress levels low and adoptability high, keeping our shelter pets happy. Of course, enrichment programs and animal wellness are at the forefront of an innovation as well. And then probably the most important part is sustainability, right? We want to be in service to the community long after our 75th anniversary. We're looking at the next 75 years, right? This is the long game. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? So sustainability, investing in our people, planning for the future is a huge aspect to what the strategic planning process will look like for us on the 30th and what that roadmap will lay out for us. So again, we're building a future where no family has to surrender a pet because they can't afford care. And where HSP is the first place that they turn to for that help. And of course, we can't do that alone. It requires our donors and our corporate supporters. And I think folks sometimes have a fundamental gap in what they understand of what a nonprofit does. We don't have a tax base that we can rely on. We are completely operating at the generosity of our community. Historically, when you think of a nonprofit, what is the purpose of a nonprofit? To fill the gaps that government cannot, right? So we do that completely at the generosity of our community, our donors, our corporate supporters, so we can be in service to the community. So Robert, obviously we can't do that alone, right? We know that through we just talked about our donors and our corporate supporters and everybody that's our volunteers and our staff members. From your perspective, what does meaningful community support look like?
Again, we started with the volunteers, and we can, the volunteers are key to this organization. As you were indicating, I mean, it's just the more volunteers we have, it's just more hands, the better it is. But meaningful support really comes in the financial aspect. I mean, because there's a lot of people out there, a lot of organizations out there that just are unaware of what it takes to run an organization like this.
Yes.
And as board members, this is another aspect of our position, is we should be opening up doors to people that we know, and through business, through relationships, and just educating them as well as to what the needs are for an organization such as this and how important it is an organization like this is in our community.
Yes. It's
a very high demand, as you on a personal note, you're well aware of my family's involvement with last 5 years with cats, and it even opened up my eyes to how this organization has an impact to people, especially my family, just helping us out, and my wife, and getting involved with the rescuing cats. So it's opened up my eyes, and I think as a board member, we have to introduce the people in our community, whether it be business or personal, just the need of an organization such as this, and it takes a village, really, and it really takes financial contributions from these people.
Yes.
And we have to, just educate people and let them know what is needed. And that's, some of the events that we hold, such as the gala, gives us an opportunity to, tell our story.
That's right.
But it needs to be done more than just one night. It has to be continuous. And I think as a board member, we're just looking to open up doors for people, for our development team to make contact with, so we can tell the story.
Yes, absolutely. And, we have done a tremendous job and made some vast improvements at telling our story. We have a tremendous following on our social media platforms. But you're absolutely correct. It's about our board members. It's about our donors and folks who contribute to this organization, because they've connected to what we do and how we service the community, to continue to not just support us financially, but to help us tell our story, right? And I tell our team all the time, if we're not telling our story, who is, right? Who is? And we scream it from the mountaintops every day because it's an important story. We're here in service to the community, and we're here to partner with other organizations and not like organizations that can help us tell our story and help support one another in service to this community.
And just another point in terms of the contributions. I mean, the key aspect too is not just the individuals. Obviously, yes. Individuals, very caring individuals, who give a lot. But there's also companies out there that we need, as board members, we need to make contact with, because there's a lot of corporate giving.
Sure.
It's very successful businesses in our community that are willing to make contributions to the community through an organization such as ours.
Yes.
And we just have to educate the corporations as much as the individuals to let them know, what we do and how much we need their support. I think that's a key aspect.
Yes, absolutely. And we just rolled out actually a brand new corporate sponsorship program or package. So there's information to be found on our website about that, or you can contact our development team here to learn more about that brand new corporate sponsorship and corporate partnership package that we have to offer, because it is more, it's not just about the individual donor. It's not just about the individual foundations that have a connection to what it is and how we service this community, but there's corporations have a philanthropy arm as well. And we're relying upon those philanthropy arms and those corporations to help us continue to support our mission and service this community as well. And we've been this building has opened up a tremendous amount of exposure for us. And we've had a tremendous amount of corporate and community support from those corporate organizations that come out and volunteer and give their time to do some, certain projects with us here, whether it be enrichment for the shelter pets or helping with some property work that we have ongoing throughout the property as well. And it helps feed that philanthropy need and arm of those larger corporations that are coming out. And we also help by giving, sharing their story and how they're helping us. And likewise, they share how they came out and helped and gave back to their community as well by partnering with us.
How would you define a true partnership with the community? Absolutely.
So again, it's, we're in this together, right? As you said before, to your point, it takes a village, right? Mm-hmm. Working shoulder to shoulder in service to our mission and supporting this community. But some examples of community powered success are adopters, right? Adopters coming in here to help make second chances possible for our shelter pets that are in our care and custody. That's corporate partners. Underwriting our shelter services, right? Whether that's adoptions or intakes or transfers, or sometimes even though we help keep pets in homes, sometimes circumstances, present themselves to families where they have to surrender their pets, and we're here for them for that as well. So it's those corporate partnerships, underwriting those services, and pet food pantry, and volunteers and foster families offering their time, giving those in-kind services, and the heart. That's the heart of who we are, right? And giving back to the community. Our donors sustaining those core programs that I just talked about. And our neighbors are sharing the stories of what we do and how we impact and support this community, amplifying our voice and helping to tell our story as well. So that's really what that partnership, the core of a good partnership, looks like for us here. When people feel connected to HSP and our mission, they act on that connection. And that's really how we change lives together, not just for shelter pets, but for the people in our community as well.
The more people feel ownership of HSP, the stronger our community gets.
Absolutely.
And I think just people that become part of the members or feel this ownership of HSP, the stronger we will become.
Absolutely. No doubt. No doubt. Well, Robert, thank you so much for opening this new chapter with us. This is a new venture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Episode 1 of...
and again, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, whether you've adopted, you've donated, you volunteered, or just shared our story on our mission, you too are part of the heart of HSP. We hope that you'll share this episode with your friends and your family and on your social media platforms. Stay tuned for more conversations from inside the shelter and in our community. Visit our website, humanesocietyofpinellas.org. Visit us on all of our social platforms. We're out there. We're in the community. We're telling the community stories. We're telling our story and how we're supporting the community on all those platforms and our website. Learn about new ways to get involved with us here at HSP. And we're just getting started. We're just getting started here. We're excited about what the next 75 years hold.
Yep.
That's right. And we're glad that we're in this together. We're glad that you're with us. Thank you.
Thank you.